Well, hello. How's it going? If you didn't watch the TL versus LNG livestream, then I've just finished. That'll be in the live tab on YouTube. But hello, welcome to the second series today that I'll be covering today, is we have an absolute belter of a series on our hands. Is Geng take on Weibo. This is my first taste of LPL versus LCK here at Worlds, and I'm really looking forward to covering this with you guys as we get to see the MSI champions for the first time here at this World Championship doing battle against a team that's always done well internationally, Weibo. Now, just looking at these two teams and the names, the caliber of player, it does give a lot of hype for this matchup, as we're already starting to see mid lane AP bans remove Ziggs, Aurora, the common two from the red side, whereas Ori, Renekton, and Ashe removed by Geng. That's a very unique set of bans, I would say. Orianna for Zahu isn't something you typically expect, as we've kind of seen more AD mids coming through in Swiss stage. I mean, obviously this was like the third game of the day, so AD mids may have not been discussed. But Yone, that's the big pick people have realized is good here at Worlds. Top laner or mid laner, he's being flexed and being played to a high amount of skill level, and as a whole, it's kind of why he's in the meta. Now, normally we are seeing these AD mids. Tristana still being powerful. We saw that last game with Scout. And Smolder is the other big one that's still in meta. Just having that execute on the kit is very powerful. Last game we saw a Poppy ban come through in first rotation. And it makes a lot of sense for it to be banned, because the amount of champions in the current meta that have dashes, just having Poppy negating them all is such a massive pickup, and it provides so much flexibility because it can be played jungle, it can be played top and support. You don't have to show your hands with this pick unless you do decide to lock in your top laner on 2. It's basically calling the shots that, hey, we expect you to go maybe Rumble here on your next rotation of picks. And yeah, there you go. Rumble Maokai for Geng. This is just stock standard. Giving Keen a comfort pick, giving Anyan Maokai. Like, this is just Geng finding picks that they've performed on all year long. Weibo, on the other hand, they've got the option here to lock in their own jungler. Sedge is up. Anything along those lines could be prevalent. But instead, they're going to match AD mids as Xiaohu's Lucian gets picked up here. Why am I saying Xiaohu's Lucian and not Light or Breeze? It's this guy made a living off this pick, picking up 2 World Championships off this champion, not World Championships, MSI titles with this champion. And it's such a massive pickup here that, as a whole, it's a chef's kiss, really, for Weibo's mid laner, who's looking to punish Geng here. Now, second ban phase coming through. Blitzcrank banned away, which is kind of a surprise. Lahen's not going to be able to get that pick. You've got Rel up and available. Nautilus is up and available. Honestly, Weibo should ban maybe one of those. As Nami gets banned, that's kind of trying to force the Lucian into mid. That's a good deny. Lulu's another good option to ban away. You gotta deny the Enchanter supports really for this Lucian to really perform. Jhin gets removed. That's actually quite nice. That pick would work quite well with this Geng comp if you think about it. the consistent damage from the Smolder, the burn damage from the Rumble, Jin to execute off targets. We've already saw what Gala can do with it, so that being taken away is huge. Other good options to be removed away. I wasn't going to say Nidalee. I probably would have said Kaiser, to be honest. But that's still up and available and could come through here for light. I think that would probably work quite well in executing off the Smolder. But maybe Weibo decide to go for something else. And it will be this Jin in light, Jinx in light's hand, not Jin. Jin got banned. Genji show out the rest of their draft. Top lane pick already locked in, mid lane and jungle, so it's their bot lane. Rel, Kaiser. I mean, you've got Lucian. Maybe Leona here would be better into this Lucian, just to lock him down a little easier. Because Rel Crashdown isn't as guaranteed as Shield of Daybreak, Zenith Blades, and Qs from Leona. Shield Smash, I think it is. Anyway, Genji just threw down the gauntlet. Pei's getting Kalista and Lahen's on Renata. That's an aggressive bot lane for level 1. And Ivan gets locked in here for Tarzan. So the Poppy was always a flex. And I like that because Genji were forced into banning a support in phase 2. So Weibo playing draft well here. Ivan with 2. That's actually a really strong Ivan comp. The issue is the minimalistic amount of AP this comp has. It's really got to come out from this Ivan, which, let's be honest, will be building full support Enchanter to protect and power up this Lucian and Jinx. Whereas, I'll be honest, Canyon can just build tank. If he builds tank, he'll get, realistically speaking, a lot more value than going for the like AP Leandri's builds or the Malignance builds that you have seen this year on Maokai. I think Grasp would work well, Aftershock, sorry, as well would be good. Just go full tank. So that way it makes it so much harder for this Lucian and Jinx to get into the backline. Because you've realistically got to be the front line with this Rumble to burn down targets and protect your carries. Because Kalista's very short range and she's not really going to be able to protect herself. So Genji, I think, have got a very hard comp to execute here into this LNG, into this Weibo comp, who can simply fight you and run you down. As we get onto the Rift for this game, lane swaps could be coming out as Paze is already walking to the top side of the Rift. Zika shows, and yeah, it's interesting. I just call him Zika, it's Keen. This is the issue of covering 2 games back to back with 2 different people. You get them mixed up. Anyway, Keen showing himself topside. And the global power rankings, it shows you Genji, #1 in the world, winning MSI, gives you the rights to be the best team, winning the LCK spring and 2nd in summer. This team is very, very strong. And Weibo, as a 4th seed from LPL, have a lot of work to do, as Breeve's just going to walk up here and the lane swap will happen. It's actually going to be Weibo initiating this one, as Breeve just trying to dissuade, bully out Canyon from taking this topside jungle, as Crisp has pathed his way down here. This is just Weibo trying to deny camps. Breeve really can't go to lane because he'd be in a 2v1 and be forced into a threatened dive situation. So this is what support, or the lane swap meta, has kind of come to, is support joining up with mid laners, top laners also going to mid laners, or top laners queuing up with their bot laners to get turret plates on the top side would demolish. Because already you're seeing the 90% tower resist to early game damage. It's a lot of work. But the big thing that Genji are doing is denying minion waves. As Tarzan's just freely getting access to this jungle. I'm just keeping my eye on where the rest of Genji are. As Breve TPs to the bot side tower to get some plate pressure. And this is the big thing. The bot lane tier 1 still has the normal amount of resistance. It's only the top lane tier 1 that really received a buff. And as such, teams are starting to kind of have to play a bit more towards it. And I need to do something real quick, so apologies as I just saw the music because it's gotten really loud in my ear. There we go. Back into this. So, how's this shaping up? Well, topside, we're starting to see Light getting burnt down by Keen. The top lane matchup going in favor of the Rumble slightly for now with the extra CS. I mean, it's 10 plus CS because he hasn't been denied waves. Whereas Weibo, well, they've had to force Chris to join up with Breve in order to try and protect their top laner, who's just losing out more and more on this CS. Now, Canyon will do some counter jungling as he's lost his blue side jungle already to Tarzan. And as such, basically what we're seeing is the junglers just trying to section off this mid lane with this side belonging to Genji and this side belonging to Weibo, because Light is staying topside. You need to protect your ADC. However, just take a look at what's happening right now. Grubs are up in a minute, and already Genji pathing up to the topside map. They're kind of answering the lane swap here, with Light being kind of trapped up here. Hayes joins up with the rest of his team, or he joins up with Canyon, and this should be a pretty easy first set of Void Mites over to Genji. And it's through no fault of this Ivan, but he just sucks at taking these big objectives and requires a lot of protection from his team in order to do so. And as such, Weibo really can't contest this objective unless they overcommit. And overcommitting would result in Keen getting further and further ahead. As Chovy taking a lot of damage here from Xiaohu and Tarzan. Won't result in a kill, but it's a bit of pressure as the Void Mites will spawn. The best bet Weibo have here is to force a fight. However, it is only level 5 Ivan, so can't really just throw out Daisy and body block a lot of damage. Now, Weibo coming down here as well, and just going to body block, just deny crisp access. And that's going to be all 3 grubs secured here by Genji. Canyon taking a lot of damage from the culling, but Smolder's here to protect. It's going to be the rocket blocked as well. And Genji get out scot-free. They only had to burn all the summoners off of Canyon to do so. But, hey. They make it out with 3 Void Grubs, and with the comp that they've got, their siege potential in the bot side with the Rumble, just having constant pressure, is very high. So that tier 1 in the bot lane probably will fall very soon. On top side of things, Light and Pay, doing work. Tarzan shows up, And this is a 3v2. Good handshake there to deny Crisp and Light any advancement onto Pays. But hey, end of the day, the wave gets pushed out and Genji forced to respond. So, let's take stock of how this game's shaping up. First backs probably going to start to come through here by the bot laners and top laners, as that's a Dark Seal in Keen's back pocket, I'm noticing. And that is a big pickup, because that leads me to believe that Genji are kind of wanting to play through this Rumble right now, as he is the solo source of AP in this entire game, and he's going to have a lot of impact when it comes to team fights, because laying down the red burning carpet of doom should really result in Genji finding advantages around these team fights. And I personally really like what they are doing, considering the fact that Weibo haven't really been able to find a play, as that's going to be the Fate's Call used. That's a massive denial of escape by Canyon, as it gives First Blood over to Pays, and Genji are on the board early in this Swiss stage. With that pick off, it's also going to result in this Drake, Chemtech Drake numero uno, so that's a good setup and start for how this one is going to shape up. Smite, secure, biggity buggity boom. That's going to be Genji on the board with all the objectives so far in this game. And with Grubs up in a minute, you're going to start to see them transition up to the top side. Backs coming through from the bot lane as well as the jungle. And Boot picked up. I'm also intrigued by the fact Jinx has gone for the cull. In this situation, I get it. You're trying to play it and scale up for the late game. However, the scaling that Genji have slightly outfavors what Weibo have, in my opinion. I think that the Smolder has a little bit better scaling throughout this game. So, as well as the Rumble, just the damage that you can output is a lot better as we move forward. I think, personally speaking, trying to get first item on this Jinx is pretty nice as soon as possible. However, Cull in this situation just feels like a bit of a Hail Mary more than anything. It doesn't really suit this situation. Considering it's a lane swap meta, Cull kind of fell out of preface, considering how you want to kind of play accelerated rather than slowed down. But TP going to be invested here by Keen to join up with the rest of his team. It's 4 members of Genji up for these grubs. They're going to secure the first one. That's going to be Keeper's Verdict going wide. And the Ivan's kind of being countered here by the Maokai, by the way. As the hostile takeover red carpet combination comes through, that's going to be a burnt down Poppy. TP's going to come in here as the Jax tries to join up with the team. Breathe gets into the backside, but he's going to be denied any form of access. He will secure the kill for Canyon, but Mom secures the trade back. Xiaohu secures for himself 1, and it's a 2-for-1 trade in favor of Weibo. The issue is 6 Void Grubs secured by Genji. They come out pretty happy with how that fight went for them, even if they do lose kills. So, while that also happened, what we've just seen is Chovy TPing bot, so he's looking to secure tier 1 down there. Let's take a look at this fight again. But as I was saying, Maokai kind of counters Ivan with the fact that you chuck saplings into the brushes and it gets empowered. As Crisp, he's immediately tanking the brunt of the ultimate damage. The hostile takeover plus the Nature's Grasp combo together with an equalizer forces essentially Poppy low. Mum coming over the shoulder secures the trade back kills, but Xiaohu just catching out lands. It's pretty big, and it does keep this game a little bit more interesting. So, as it stands, Genji slightly ahead 300 gold over Weibo, who, to be honest, doing quite well. Just taking a look at the stacks right now on Chovy. 109, which is a nice number of stacks at this stage of the game. You're closing in, well, you're probably looking at 200 around 20 minutes. So you're very close to your execution rate at that point. And personally speaking, this matchup in the mid lane, very, very even. As the Lucian will have better damage consistently over the Smolder, who is basically reliant on them Qs to get the damage down through the early game. But as this game goes on, the Smolder is going to feel more and more impactful. And I think Weibo really need to start pushing the tempo. Unfortunately for them, the biggest tempo pushers in the Void Might went over to Geng, who will probably use them very effectively as this game goes on. Because bear in mind, Void Mights don't lose value throughout the game. In fact, I think you gain value with them the more like time goes on with the burn damage you do to towers. So there's that. You also get the Void Might, which with 6 you get 2. So there's very much a strong sieging potential out from this Geng squad, with a Herald up in 15 seconds. Chovy really needs to reset here if Geng wanted to contest it, because he has no TP. And with how Weibo are kind of setting up here, it feels like Geng are not contesting it as TP comes through. Nature's Grasp will tag on to 2, but that's just used to allow Geng access into the river. Good flash there by Lahens to get away from the Chompers. And Weibo, they've got control of this river, but as that all happened, Chovy's managed to path his way up to the mid lane. Mom is ready to be dropped on a second's notice. However, Weibo, they've got 2 members taking this Drake by themselves without any real contest, because Geng, they're getting Drake for themselves. Second Drake of the game for Herald. I say that's worth it for Geng in the long run, because they're trying to slow this game down and reach power spikes. 3 Soul, especially being Infernal Soul, is pretty massive for them, as they will realistically be able to burn through targets quite quickly. The caveat of that, though, is you give over the kind of tempo making item in the Herald, which Weibo have used to crack open the mid lane tier 1. Herald's going to be used to push a little bit more. It will fall pretty easily here to Pays, who's just going to auto attack it down. But with the mid lane falling in favor of Weibo, gives a little bit more safety to Light and Xiaohu, whomever is in the mid lane at the point, to just safely farm at a bit more distance. You're not having to risk it all to get the CS. And so as a whole, that does give Weibo a bit of a better situation in that regard. The issue for Weibo is these items being picked up by Geng. Rumble closing in on that Liandry's gonna just burn through targets quite a lot more. And with how squishy the carries of Weibo are, unless you shield the right target, one of them's almost certainly going to die to a burn down. As Keen steps forward, spots Tarzan down here, drops the equalizer, a very good equalizer to be honest. It's just going to kill off the wave, and yeah, Cannon will be denied here by Breathe, so he doesn't give over the 46 gold to Keen, but hey, still most of the waves secured here by Keen, who just is content with how this is going down the bot side, doesn't need to overstep, and instead, he's forcing the play. Lehens is down here, but will not overstep, and Geng just burned down the Jax's health bar. Now, earlier we were starting to talk about the itemization build for this Maokai before we got into game, and how he should really be building tank. He's going for it. Obviously, I've spoken about how the meta around tanks has shifted a little bit. Warmog's priority has shrunk quite a lot, as Locket and Zeke's Convergence have kind of risen in priority in terms of itemization pickups for tanks, because it provides a lot of sustain for you, while also providing protection for your team with the Locket. And honestly, Locket in this situation, while there isn't any massive AoE spells, bar say the Jinx Rocket, it's still good at surviving the burst or the consistent damage that Weibo have. So I like this pickup overall for Canyon, who will try to basically protect his team, because you've got a lot of squishy members on Genji's side of things, and they've got very little protection. The peel is really just a Fate's Call, as well as the Maokai's entire kit. Everything else is just front big burst booty damage. And so having, other than also a scrap shield, I guess, but the Renata provides protection, and that's a nice, interesting second item for Tarzan, as he has gone from the bell. I forget what it's called. I think it begins with an M. But the CC Mikhail's, that's what it's called. I remembered it. But yeah, Ivan's gone for the Mikhail's, and I mean, it gets people off of the burning carpet, I guess. Hostile takeover cancellation as well. It's a very nice item into this comp that Weibo are trying to fight. As, let's be honest, we're going to start to see fighting as Soul Point is on the table now. The Infernal Dragon roars onto the rift, and Weibo and Geng both positioning down here. 4 members of Weibo grouping up alongside the 4 of Geng. It's the top main matchup where Chovy's TPing in first. Scuttle secured here by Weibo, but Daisy walking forward, trying to give them access into this Drake pit. Reeve TP's as well, so all 5 members are gonna go in for the Barney. It's a 5v5, make it a 5v4 as the keeper's verdict yeets the Maokai out. Mum's gonna be thrown over the top of the burning carpet of the equalizer, and the redemption's gonna be used to top up Weibo. The health bars that are in favor of Weibo as Geng getting killed off in the pit, but that's a Jax on his own. There's no frontline to stand alongside him, and Pays gets the kill. Weibo now trapping 4 in the pit, and Geng looking to stay alive. They're still here. Flashes being saved till the very last second. Xiaohu will get the clap back as Lehens got a little bit too greedy. It's going to be Weibo and Geng going 1-for-1 there. But the most important thing is Weibo secured the Drake. It's going to be interesting to see how Weibo secured that Drake, because I don't think it was the Ivan who got it. So let's take a look. Keeper's verdict launches the Maokai out. The damage through, it is the Ivan smiting, never mind. He just walks through the equalizer to do so. Anyway, here, Jax went a little bit too aggressive, to be honest. It just seems like an overstep, and while he does almost kill Pays, he just doesn't have enough in the kit. Now, this is just Geng trying to be a bit cheeky, not burning flashes immediately, and because they didn't, Lens falls. It's a dumb play, overall. And as such, Geng give over a kill and a Drake. when they really should have only given over the Drake. Anyway, Baron on the table now. The next big prize for either team. Any pickoffs now should result in that objective going over. Weibo doing a good job advancing their vision line. 1, 2, 3. The trio of entry wards are going to be spotted out. So there's no real, like, undenied vision here for Weibo. As Genji doing a good job clearing out, getting control back into the river. However, the issue is, because they're grouping up as 4, it makes it so easy for Xiaohu to secure push. Now, junglers are pathing bot side. Potential play could come through. But Xiaohu's played with respect. Doesn't overstep. And I've just noticed something pretty big on my chart right now. Chovy closing in on the big juicy 225, 217 right now. He is 8 CS, oh, not 8 CS, 8 hits away from receiving that juicy target. Weibo doing a good job securing vision around this Baron, but that ward there is crucial for Genji because it tells you that Weibo aren't on the Baron. And so the vision game continues as Genji, they realize they've got more members mid. They're just going to group as 5 and force the tower. Equalizer dropped and chunks out Tarzan. They will secure the TP out of Breathe. On the flank is Xiaohu, who opens up with the culling, but he's isolating himself. This is a very split fight with only Genji really grouping up. Crisp is burning down as Smolder hit that juicy target, but Daisy also will fall. Locket cancels out the Super Mega Deathfire Rocket, and Weibo forced to heal up under their own tower. Genji still grouped as 5, looking to secure this mid lane tier 1, and the continual fight can happen. Canyon is trying to back with Lahen's also incredibly low. Weibo winning out on this fight in my opinion, as them shields and heal ups coming out from Tarzan makes it really hard for Genji to compete. So, what do you know? We're at a stage of the game where Weibo feeling confident, having hit their power spikes. 3 item Xiaohu also really going to be hitting hard with everything that's going on. And we started to see it there. The culling opened up, ripping to pieces Genji's tank, more specifically, as he has got Randuin's Omen here. Has Canyon. The culling going to be used. Lahen's tanking it up quite a lot. He's down below half his HP, and Chovy gets tagged up as well. Xiaohu takes the brunt of mum, and now Genji, they're feeling the burn. They have obviously started to hit their power spikes with the smaller execute being a possibility. Daisy's going to be dropped here, but it's not really going to gain much. Infernal Drake is on the board, and this is the dance that Genji are forcing. They realize they don't need this Drake, so they can force the fight for Baron. If Weibo turn towards that objective, hey, we'll get Baron. If Weibo go towards Baron, Genji gets whole point. So, this ring-a-ring-a-rosy, as what was that damage onto Lahen's? That looked like the rocket. The redemption flashed out of here, and Renata incredibly low. It's 4v5 if Weibo won it, and in fact, they certainly look to be wanting to fight. They're going to turn towards this Drake and secure a pretty easy objective for themselves, considering the Renata was burnt out the fight. It's just going to be Xiaohu and Tarzan taking this one. Ample amount of damage. They're not overcommitting members. And this should very easily deny any chance of Genji getting the Baron. Never mind. Genji are forcing it. Why not? Crisp on this top side. The Baron take is spotted, and it's burning incredibly quickly. Keeper's verdict dodged there by the twisted advance. Meeting Canyon stayed in the pit and secures it. The Nature's Grass does work as the Fate's Call is used. Breathe is isolated. Caught out as a culling. Gonna do a lot of damage down onto Lehens. But Genji, they're caught. Burnt. Down. Keen falls on the top side of fight. It's gonna be Xiaohu killing them off. But on the bottom, it's Canyon and Chovy killing the Ivan. It's a 2-for-1 trade. And this fight goes still in favor of Genji. They still have the Baron, this mid lane tier 1. Possibly gonna fall. Xiaohu gonna have to play incredibly carefully here. As Pays just using his autos to get distance. But he's on the wrong side of the map. TP coming through as Breeve's hunting. He wants Chovy, but will not be able to get it. And that's actually a wasted TP. Pays is able to escape. Where did he back? Anyway, we don't get to see the massive twist advance there, but that's what secured Canyon the Baron. Culling doing work, Lehens just being chipped away, and Keen flashed on, immediately killed off the hostile, the bailout, not enough, and that's a good heal by... You healed the Ivan, because basically it kept him alive a little longer to survive the execute, and because he survived that, it meant that Weibo were able to basically sustain through the fight and win it. At this point of the game, Genji signed to lose control as Breeve's going to be caught out, Counter-Strike, and then leap to safety means that Jax won't fall. Instead, Genji going to use this Baron to secure top lane tier 1, force the wave to crash into the tier 2 top, but Weibo, they're playing the smart. They're not giving Genji this mid lane tier 1. That avenue to open up the map is just being cut away, and it's why Genji are grouping up to force this tower down. Breeve's just going to sit on side lane. He has no TP, so Genji just need to overcommit members in order to get this objective. Baron is available on 3 of them, so it should fall with relative ease if they can get the minion wave in. With the Nature's Grass and Equalizer chucked down, it's almost certainly going to land. Mom's going to be thrown out, and that's a caught out Ivan. Burnt to a crisp he goes, and Pays is on a killing spree. The Void Mites from earlier in the game going to come in dividend for Genji here. So they're able to secure for themselves 2 towers off this Baron push. And they're looking for more. The rocket goes wide. That might have killed Canyon if it landed. Redemption topping up light. And the TP flank is coming through. Here comes Xiaohu. The guy wants the money and he's isolated himself. Breathe pathing down here, needs to join up. TP flank in. It's going to be Keen with the rest of his team. The engage comes through as a rumble. He's caught out light and burnt him to a crisp. Xiaohu is the only damage dealer alive who's burning, ticking down. It's also Breathe falling, and Chovy's got himself a double. This Lucian TP flank seemed insane. Seemed absolutely delusional. A last-ditch attempt that's not even a last-ditch. The culling gonna come through. Chovy, the flash for Xiaohu could secure the kill, but he's not given the opportunity to. And instead, it's Pays getting paid 4-0-3 on this Callista with 3 completed items. This man is incredibly strong, and he's building up resistances now. Look at that. Warden's Mail in the back pocket of this Callista just means that she's going to be even harder to kill. And when you're a carry like this, I mean, you're probably going to build Frozen Heart. I think that's probably the best buy, considering its attack speed carries for Weibo. Jax, attack speed heavy. Lucian, attack speed heavy. Jinx, attack speed heavy. This is such a good buy, and I love it from Pays if he does turn it into a Frozen Heart. Anyway, win probability graphs showcasing how strong Genji are right now. After that team fight win, the Baron secure, everything. But Weibo have a few tricks up their sleeves. They're grouping up as 5, trying to defend their last tier 2. Baron obviously expired ages ago, which means Genji don't have that easy avenue into it. Instead, they're forced to use their ultis, Mom and Nature's Grasp, used alongside each other just to force Weibo back to secure this tier 2. Keeper's Verdict being channeled, but not yeeted, and Genji walk out scot-free. 20 seconds now until Baron, and I think we all know what that means. It's fight time. Both teams want the objective. Only one can get it. And with how this game is going, it could be anyone's. Now, Genji don't need to force it. They can slow it down for another 3 minutes and 45 seconds for when the soul spawns for them. They can force it that way. But Canyon, he's trying to catch out Breathe. Will not be able to do so. But Genji, they're catching out Weibo. I was just looking to see if that was the equalizer used to do that damage. It was not. So they've still got that tool in their back pocket. The damage down onto Weibo is actually quite high, all things considered, compared to Genji's health bars being full. But you've got to think Chovy, very powerful right now. Sitting on 4 items. Spirit Surgeon, Bloodthirster, Mermana, RFC. It's a very strong position to be in, considering his counterpart also on 4 items doesn't have the same sort of movement speed, and that's actually quite interesting to think about it. Zhao hasn't gone boots, and instead the possible catch out of Lehend comes through as the root lands. All of Genji trying to protect their Renata. The Fate's Call comes through a little bit too late, keeping him alive, yeeted him in, but he's still going to fall. It's a 1-for-1 trade as Jinx gets excited. Maokai going forward, but he's still going to fall. It's still a kill trade yet again as Chovy is on a rampage. Xiaohu tagged by the sapling, forced to dash the wall, and it's still kill trades coming through. Genji can't force this Baron. Their jungler is down. But with Ren, maybe they do. They've got double ADC. This will still burn quite quickly. Tarzan is getting close, but I don't think he's here in time. Xiaohu TP's in, gets onto Pays, and a turn comes through from Genji. They've caught the Lucian, and the Callista gets the kill. It's still a 1-for-1 trade yet again as Keen falls. It's just a bloodbath in this late game. And Genji and Weibo, it's not gonna stop. 1:20 till Infernal Soul for Genji. We were saying all Genji need to do is slow down the game, and they've kind of done it in the most bizarre of fashions. They've slowed it down. But is it enough? In my opinion, no. But they have got some big, powerful summoners out from Weibo. They've now got firm control of the pit with that control ward. And never mind. Crisp is just going to walk up there. Tarzan and Light also. Weibo have regained river control. And Genji are looking. TP's coming in. And that's going to be Chovy joining up with his team. Keep your eye on Xiaohu off to one side. The culling opens up. He's not going to be able to get too much because he hasn't got boots. He's not able to do work as Lehend's taken low. Keeper's Verdict lands. Chovy's yeeted out. And Weibo start the Baron. If you think Geng can take Barons quick, Weibo can as well. Nature's Grass is thrown out, Mum on top of it, and the Baron's secured by Weibo. Crisp is going to be the sacrificial lamb as Geng are looking to trade back. Fate's Call gonna sacrifice Lehens as a hostile takeover. Will tag onto Xiaohu, but that's all it will do. It's still trades coming through as Chovy is the benefactor to double kill. And he's gonna fall. The shutdown light secures it. And that is still a massive amount of kills over to both teams. The rocket, will it land in base? No, it will not. Just thrown. Why not? Just throw the ulti. It's a bit too early in my opinion, considering they could have used it for Drake. And now, with the fact Tarzan's down, this is an easy soul secure for Geng. Weibo overcommitting to the Baron, some may say, giving over this permanent buff to Geng. So, how is this shaping up? Let's take a look at the fight again. The Baron, smite secured, with Chris buying time for the team. The Fate's Call comes through, and it's flashed, which means that Lens is in an awkward situation. He does get a good hostile takeover onto Xiaohu, doing damage down to Light, but it's just immediately disrupted by Light. The zap lands onto Chovy, he gets bursted out by Jinx, and thus the kill trades just kept coming through. It's a very even game, all things considered, and Geng are doing wonders with how they're utilizing these evenish fights to turn it into these permanent buffs. Now Baron obviously still on Weibo for 50 seconds. However, you look at the gold gain, it's very much just what the initial Baron's worth. It's a self-writing Baron, this, more than a objective securing one. And with the golds kind of only being 1k difference now, the game state's very even. However, I didn't realize how far behind Xiaohu was to Chovy's Smolder. As Smolder's full build. If he wants to sell them booties and get something pretty nice, he can. Oh! Do you remember how I was saying Frozen Heart for Callista? It's actually Renowin's Omen. So, that's kind of funky. I like it. Getting the chase down potential, as well as just the outright armor, is very good. GA also unlocked for Pays, who, while we've kind of seen Smolder getting all the kills, Pays is still 606. A very good KDA game for him. And I'm very happy it's a good KDA game for him. Because he's our KDA killer for me. As that's going to be the culling used. Nature's Grass tags. The Mikhail's forced out. That's a big item used there by Weibo. And Geng, they can maintain control. The issue for Weibo is these saplings and the vision control that they provide just denies so much from Weibo in terms of accessing their own jungle. And with it, a hell of a lot of control. Is maintained by Geng. So, continue forward. And Elder probably is the next big fight. Baron in a minute 30 as well. Could be where we see these two teams kind of flurry. As 41 minutes are on the clock. Neither team giving up here. And this is the issue with these sorts of comps. they do tend to stall out. No one wants to lose this game and go into the lower bracket, or the middle bracket, I guess. But one of them must. And this game situation, it comes down to inches, it comes down to positioning, it comes down to one mistake and a punishing play from one of these two teams. So, Breathe pulls Keen down to the bot side as that tier 2 in the sight of Weibo. Mid lane gonna be pushed out here with a minute until this Elder. Weibo have the better footing into this bottom side of the map, which should allow them better control of this river. That being said, Geng starting to claw this vision back. We already spoke about how good the saplings are at clawing vision. And well, that equalizer being used is quite big. The cooldown on this obviously incredibly short at this stage of the game. So it will be probably back up before the Elder fight. TP going to be used here by Xiaohu to rejoin up with his team as Daisy's used just to walk forward, advance the vision line, try and secure entranceway into the Barren River. But that isn't the play as Breathes burning to a crisp. Forced to run away. As the Elder spawns, Daisy's going to be killed off. These ultis for Weibo are on cooldown. Flash was also used there by Crisp, which wasn't in our vision. So Elder is started. Breathe is on the flank. The equalizer drop. Crisp is being targeted. Mum goes away, but the engage from Geng is perfect. They kill off Tarzan, securing the Elder, and everyone dies to the dragon. It's a double kill to Chovy to round out that fight, and the ace for Geng as they secure the big buff. And I don't think you need Baron to win this game at this situation, as 5 alive gonna crush through the mid lane. One clinical fight secured the win here for Geng, taking them to 1-0 in the Swiss stage and taking them into a matchup against a team that really will delete them. Anyway, enough said. The game goes to the LCK 2nd seed as they take down the 4th seed and slip and fall off the stage. It's a good game overall. It's a testament to how strong Weibo actually are. And as they kind of push Geng into this awkward situation where they were forced to scale and not get all that they wanted. But we look at this fight as a whole. Weibo had no entranceway into the river. Geng just immediately burnt the objective. The equalizer pushed them back as well. It's a really good equalizer. Chris was isolated. Breathe wasn't in position. The Ren stacks are already in the Drake. Smite's cure is almost guaranteed. While Mum was pretty bad, you have to think about its usage. It was there to keep Weibo in the river. And just look at how split up Weibo actually are. Xiaohu and Breathe there. Crisp here. Light and Tarzan here. You're so split that it's really easy for Weibo. Sorry, for Geng to secure and not feel pressured. So yeah, Nature's Grasp as well. The culling just accelerates the Baron take. And yeah, it's actually the Rumble that secures it with the burn damage. Because it's just easy. Genji had already kind of split up to deal with the members of Weibo. But the Baron secure was pretty nice. Burn damage, securing all the kills, and yeah. Genji win the game. And with it, our second game of Worlds is covered. Thank you very much for joining me today. If you enjoyed it, leave a like down below. I'm going to start watching the round 3 of Swiss stage now. So I'll see you guys later. Peace out.